Look, I'm not saying I'm the most punctual guy in the galaxy, but in my defense, the station's artificial morning cycle is set to some planet I've never heard of, and my alarm clock has a personal vendetta against me. So yeah, I was late. Again. Big deal. What I didn't expect was the apocalypse. I'm walking down main corridor Delta 7, minding my own business, backpack hanging off one shoulder because I'm too tired to care about symmetry, when every single alarm in the station decides to have a collective meltdown. Red lights start spinning. Sirens that sound like dying space whales start wailing. The whole corridor bathes in this pulsing crimson glow that makes everyone look either terrifying or severely sunburned. I stop walking, obviously, because when alarms scream, you stop and wonder if today's the day the station's air recyclers finally give up. Except the computerized voice that comes over the intercom isn't talking about air. It's talking about me. Apex predator detected. Sector Delta 7. All non-combat personnel evacuate immediately. Security teams respond. Threat level critical. I look around. There's nobody else in the corridor except me and a handful of aliens who are currently doing their best impression of panicked wildlife. A Tentaborn student, all purple skin and horizontal pupils, goes completely pale, like someone drained the ink out of him. His skin flashes white, then gray, then this sickly beige color I didn't know was possible. He backs away from me so fast, he trips over his own feet and scrambles down a side corridor, leaving a wet trail behind him. A Gelborn professor, this wobbly, translucent green blob of a person, starts vibrating so hard I think he's going to shake apart. His eyes, these two solid spheres floating in jello, spin in opposite directions. He makes this wet squeaking sound and jiggles away at impressive speed for someone with the structural integrity of pudding. I'm still standing there, backpack on one shoulder, trying to figure out what apex predator they're talking about. Did something escape from the science labs? Is there a space tiger loose? Do space tigers exist? The alarms keep screaming. The voice keeps repeating, apex predator detected, like a broken record. And I'm slowly realizing that the computerized tracking system, the little holographic arrow projecting from the ceiling, is pointing directly at me. Oh no. I look down at myself. Black jacket, gray shirt, dark pants, boots. Human. Regular, boring. Hasn't had coffee yet, human. I'm not even carrying anything threatening. My backpack has a broken stylus, some assignment files, and a sandwich I forgot about 3 days ago. The sandwich might be a biohazard at this point, but it's not an apex predator. This is security. A voice crackles over a local comm panel near me. Identify yourself. I walk over to the panel, which apparently is the wrong move, because the alarms get louder. Didn't know that was possible. My ears are going to file a formal complaint. Hi, I say, pressing the button. This is Kai. Student ID 7743. I'm just going to class. There's a long pause. I hear frantic clicking sounds on the other end, like someone's mandibles are having a nervous breakdown. You're human, the voice says. It sounds accusatory. Like being human is something I did on purpose to ruin his day. Yeah, I say. Last time I checked. Did I miss a memo? Are humans not allowed in Delta 7 anymore? Stay where you are, the voice says, which is rich, because where exactly does he think I'm going to go? The alarms have announced my location to the entire station. I'm the most tracked person in the galaxy right now. I lean against the wall and wait. The corridor is completely empty now. Everyone evacuated like I'm a natural disaster. Through the viewport window, I can see stars drifting by peacefully, completely unaware that I'm causing a station-wide incident by existing. 2 minutes later, a security guard rounds the corner. He's Tentaborn, like the student who fled earlier, but bigger. Official uniform, which is basically a vest with badges, because most aliens don't do pants. His skin is doing this thing where colors keep rippling across it, purple to red to orange to purple again, like a broken mood ring. His eyes are the size of dinner plates and locked onto me with the kind of focus you'd use on an armed explosive. Kai, he says slowly, like he's trying not to startle me, I need you to stay very calm. I am calm, I say. I'm extremely calm. I'm so calm it's boring. You're the one who looks like you're about to have a heart attack, and I'm not even sure you have a heart. Do Tentaborns have hearts? That's probably insensitive. Sorry. His skin flashes bright white, which I'm learning means fear. His texture goes all bumpy, these little raised dots appearing all over his arms and face. I need you to proceed to classroom 7B very slowly, he says. No sudden movements. I was already going to 7B, I point out. That's where I was walking before the station decided I was public enemy number one. Just, he says, and his skin does another color seizure. Walk slowly. Please. So I walk slowly. The guard follows me at a distance, like I'm radioactive. The alarms are still going, but quieter now. Like the system decided I'm a known threat instead of a surprise threat. Not sure that's better. We pass through the central plaza, this big open area with high ceilings and shops that sell alien food I can't pronounce. Normally, it's packed with students. Right now, it's a ghost town. I can see faces peeking out from doorways, ducking back when I look their direction. A webweaver student is pressed against the wall near a closed shop, producing silk from her wrists in these panicked spurts. There's already a small pile of thread at her feet, like she's been stress knitting air. Her two big black eyes track me as I pass, and more silk just keeps coming. She's going to wrap herself into a cocoon at this rate. Is this going to happen every time I go somewhere? I ask the guard. Unknown, he says, which is not reassuring. We reach classroom 7B. The door is closed, which makes sense, because class started 15 minutes ago. I reach for the door control. Wait, the guard says sharply. His skin goes full spiky texture panic mode. Let me announce you first. He presses his comm badge. Professor Thalvrex, this is security. The human student Kai is outside. Permission to enter? There's a long pause. I hear something that sounds like wet breathing. Acknowledged, a voice says. It's smooth, deep, but there's this tight edge to it, like someone trying very hard to sound normal. Send him in. The guard looks at me. His eyes are still huge. His skin is still cycling through panic colors. Good luck, he says, which feels ominous. The door slides open. The classroom is an amphitheater setup, rows of seats curving up from a central floor where the professor's desk sits. There are maybe 20 students, all aliens, all currently staring at me like I just walked in holding a weapon. A Sporathe student, this beige mushroom-textured person, puffs out a cloud of spores. A Stonekith in the back row, all gray rock and mineral veins, has gone completely still, like he's hoping I don't notice him if he pretends to be a statue. And then there's Gloria. She's sitting front row, center seat, because of course she is. Her dark brown hair falls in perfect waves over her fitted black turtleneck. She looks like she walked out of a fashion catalog. If fashion catalogs existed for people who have their lives together. She's checking her silver watch with the expression of someone who has been personally victimized by my tardiness. She looks up at me, her striking green eyes narrow. You're late, she says flatly. Not loud. Doesn't need to be. The classroom has gone dead silent except for the distant wailing of alarms. There were complications, I mutter, stepping inside. The door closes behind me with a hiss that sounds way too final. There are always complications with you, Gloria says. She crosses her arms, which makes her look both gorgeous and terrifying. You know the midterm is in 4 days, right? We need these review sessions. I'm here now, I say, holding up both hands in surrender. See? Present. Accounted for. That's when I finally look at the professor. Professor Thalvrex is standing behind his desk, both hands pressed flat against the surface like he's bracing himself. He's tall, maybe 6.5 feet, with this sleek build that looks like it was designed for moving through water. His skin is translucent gray-blue, and I can see everything underneath. Organs. Actual organs. His cardiovascular system is lit up like a neon sign, glowing this pulsing red color. His brain, visible through his elongated skull, flashes yellow in stuttering bursts. His face is almost human-shaped, if humans had enormous black eyes the size of my fist and mouths full of needle teeth. There's this bioluminescent lure dangling from his forehead, like an anglerfish, glowing soft blue. It's actually kind of pretty, in a deep-sea nightmare way. He's wearing this crystalline mesh vest that doesn't hide anything. I can see his heart hammering away in his chest, glowing brighter red with each beat. His nervous system is lighting up in branching yellow patterns across his torso. He looks at me. His huge black eyes get somehow wider. Every organ in his body flares bright. "Kai," he says, his voice extremely controlled. "Welcome to class. Please take a seat." His heart is strobing like an emergency light. His brain looks like it's short-circuiting. Flashing yellow, white, yellow. There's this other organ I can't identify that's glowing orange near his stomach, pulsing faster and faster. "Thanks, Professor," I say. Because what else do you say to someone whose internal organs are having a rave? I start walking toward an empty seat in the third row. Every student I pass leans away. The Sporothy releases another spore cloud. A Carapaxian, all orange shell and clicking joints, pulls his arms in tight like I might bite them off. Gloria watches me with the expression of someone watching a disaster in slow motion. I sit down, drop my backpack, try to look like a normal student who didn't just trigger a station-wide security event. Professor Thalvrex takes a long breath. All his organs dim slightly, like he's trying to manually control them. It's not working great. His heart is still glowing red. "As I was saying before the interruption," he says, his needle teeth clicking slightly, "the study of interspecies biology requires understanding that each species evolved under unique environmental pressures." His lure brightens as he talks, which I think means he's focusing. But his heart betrays him, pulsing red every few seconds. Abyssborns such as myself evolved in deep oceanic trenches with pressures exceeding 8 tons per square inch. Total darkness. Bioluminescence as our primary sense. He's lecturing, trying to act normal. But I can literally watch his stress levels through his skin. "This environment created certain evolutionary traits," he continues. His brain flashes yellow. "Prey species develop enhanced threat detection. Predator species develop, well," he looks directly at me. His heart goes full red strobe. "Enhanced hunting capabilities," he finishes quietly. Gloria raises her hand. She doesn't wait to be called on. "Professor, are we going to address the station-wide alarm situation, or are we pretending that didn't happen?" Several students make alarm sounds. The stonekith in back somehow tenses despite being made of rock. Professor Thalvrex's organs do this complicated color change thing where his heart flares red, his brain flashes white, and something near his spine lights up purple. "The alarm system," he says carefully, "is functioning as designed. It detects apex predator biology within the station." He looks at me again. His lure dims. "Humans possess forward-facing eyes for depth perception, dense bone structure, high muscle-to-body mass ratio, and cardiovascular systems optimized for persistent hunting. The system is extremely sensitive." "So it went off because Kai exists," Gloria says. "It's not a question." "Yes," Professor Thalvrex says. His heart pulses red 3 times fast. I raise my hand. Everyone looks at me like I pulled a weapon. "I'm not hunting anyone," I say. "I'm literally just trying to pass this class so I can graduate. I don't even eat meat. Well, sometimes. But not aliens. Never aliens. That's like super illegal, right?" The Sporathy student releases the biggest spore cloud yet. It smells like mushrooms and fear. Professor Thalvrex's entire nervous system lights up yellow. "We are all aware you are not actively hunting," he says, enunciating each word. His organs are calling him a liar. "The system detects biological potential, not intent." "Can we turn it off?" I ask. "No," he says immediately. His brain flashes so bright I can see individual structures lighting up. "It's a safety system. It stays on." "So I just trigger apocalypse alarms everywhere I go," I say. "Yes," Gloria says before the professor can answer. She sounds delighted by my suffering. "Welcome to being the station's most terrifying student. Try being on time tomorrow." Professor Thalvrex makes this sound, halfway between a sigh and a gurgle. His digestive system glows green for a second. "Let's continue the lesson," he says weakly. His heart is still bright red. Chapter 7. Environmental Adaptation and Biological Niches. He pulls up a holographic display, but his hands shake slightly. The image flickers. I slump in my seat. My backpack slides to the floor with a thud. Every alien in the room flinches. Professor Thalvrex's entire body lights up like an emergency beacon, every organ glowing different colors simultaneously. It's going to be a long class. Professor Thalvrex spends the next 40 minutes trying to teach while his organs stage a rebellion against him. Every time I shift in my seat, his heart glows brighter. When I reach down to grab my stylus, his brain flashes like a strobe light. I sneeze once, just a normal human sneeze, and every organ in his translucent body fires up simultaneously like someone hit a panic button. The other students aren't helping. They're all pressed as far away from me as possible while still technically being in their seats. The Sporathy has created a small mushroom garden of stress around his desk. Tiny fungi sprouting and wilting in real time. The Stonekith hasn't moved in 20 minutes. I think he's hoping I forgot he exists. Gloria is taking notes like nothing is wrong. Her handwriting is probably perfect. She's probably already memorized everything. I bet she color codes her study guides. I'm trying to pay attention. I really am. But it's hard to focus on environmental adaptation when your professor's cardiovascular system is doing interpretive dance about how terrified he is of you. The key distinction, Professor Thalvrex says, his voice only shaking slightly, is between pursuit predators and ambush predators. Ambush predators wait for prey to come to them. His lure dims as he talks, which I've figured out means he's concentrating. Pursuit predators, however, he continues, and his enormous black eyes flick to me for a microsecond, chase their prey over long distances until the prey collapses from exhaustion. His heart pulses red twice. Humans, he says, like the word tastes dangerous, are persistence hunters. They can run for hours, days even. Prey species evolved to sprint and hide. Humans evolved to just keep coming. The way he says it makes me sound like a horror movie monster. Like I'm going to chase someone across a continent just because I'm bored. Which, to be fair, humans have actually done. There are historical records. We're not great at knowing when to quit. That's not creepy at all, I mutter. Gloria kicks my chair without looking up from her notes. Professor Thalvrex's brain flashes bright yellow. He heard me. It's simply biology, he says too quickly. No species is inherently good or evil. Evolution selects for survival strategies. Predators need to eat. Prey needs to not be eaten. Both are valid. Very diplomatic, Gloria says, still writing. I try, Professor Thalvrex says. His organs are glowing like a lie detector calling him out. The lecture continues. Something about niche specialization and competitive exclusion. I'm only catching about half of it because I'm distracted by the professor's liver, which apparently glows green when he's nauseous, and it's been flickering on and off for 10 minutes. I try to take actual notes. I really do. I pull up my tablet and start typing. Environmental adaptation, niche specialization, predator-prey dynamics. But my eyes keep drifting to Professor Thalvrex's glowing organs, which is probably the most distracting teaching aid in the history of education. Gloria glances at my screen. She makes a sound that might be a suppressed laugh or might be disgust. Hard to tell with her. You spelled specialization wrong, she whispers. I'm trying, I whisper back. Try harder. My stomach growls. It's not loud, barely audible. Just a normal human stomach saying, hey, remember that breakfast you skipped? Professor Thalvarex stops mid-sentence. Every organ in his body ignites. Red heart, yellow brain, purple spine thing, green digestive system, and several organs I don't have names for, all glowing at maximum brightness. His lure actually retracts against his skull like it's trying to hide. The Sporathy student makes a sound like air escaping a balloon and slides out of his chair onto the floor. Sorry, I say immediately. That was just my stomach. I didn't eat breakfast. I'm not actually hungry for anyone in this room. That would be super messed up. Please stop talking, Gloria says calmly, not looking up. Professor Thalvrex takes a long breath. His organs gradually dim back to their normal worried glow instead of their panic supernova glow. He places both hands flat on his desk again, steadying himself. Through his translucent skin, I can see his respiratory system working. These lung-like structures expanding and contracting in deliberate, measured rhythms. Perhaps, he says carefully, we should take a short break. He doesn't wait for responses. He walks to the back door of the classroom, the one that leads to his office, moving a little faster than normal. His translucent skin shows his muscles working, his nervous system firing in quick yellow bursts with each step. The mesh vest he's wearing catches the light from his glowing organs, creating these weird prismatic patterns across the walls. The door closes behind him. The classroom is silent for exactly 3 seconds. Then everyone starts talking at once. Well, not talking to me, talking around me. The Carapaxian in the front row turns to a Gelborn 2 seats over, mandibles clicking rapidly. The Stonekith finally moves, leaning toward a Mistwalker whose gaseous edges are swirling frantically. I catch fragments of their conversation, words like dangerous and unstable and why is he even allowed on station. Gloria closes her notes and turns to look at me fully. Her green eyes are judgmental in a way that should be illegal. You triggered a station-wide security alert, she says. I didn't do it on purpose, I protest. You're late to every class. You look like you got dressed in the dark. You forgot about the reading assignment last week, and now you're apparently a walking biological weapon. That last one isn't my fault. The first 3 are, she says. Do you know how these review sessions work? They're cooperative. We're supposed to study together. Kind of hard when everyone's terrified of your lab partner. We're lab partners? I say. She stares at me. For 6 weeks, Kai. We've been lab partners for 6 weeks. Oh, I say. Right. I knew that. Her expression suggests she knows I didn't know that. The midterm is in 4 days, she says, enunciating like I'm slow. It's 30% of our grade. I need you to actually show up on time, not causing apocalyptic panic, and maybe retain some information. I retain information. I say defensively, name 3 types of evolutionary adaptation we've covered. I open my mouth. Close it. My brain is desperately searching for anything from the past 6 weeks that isn't Professor Thalvrex's glowing organs. Camouflage. I try. That's one. That's one, Gloria agrees, waiting. I say intelligently, speed? Speed is a trait, not an adaptation category. It feels like it should count. It doesn't. I've got nothing. Gloria knows I've got nothing. She's enjoying watching me have nothing. There's this tiny smile playing at the corner of her mouth, barely visible, but it's there. She lives for this. This is why I take notes, she says, tapping her perfect handwriting, which you would know if you ever took notes. I take notes. I lie. You doodle. I've seen your files. Last week, you drew 19 variations of the station logo. They were good variations. They were adequate variations, she corrects. And they won't help you pass the midterm. The back door opens. Professor Thalvrex returns looking like he gave himself a stern talking to in the mirror. His organs are dimmer, more controlled. His heart is only pulsing red occasionally instead of constantly. He's even managed to get his lure to glow steady blue instead of that panicked flickering. He's trying. I respect that. Apologies, he says, walking back to his desk. Where were we? What? Competitive exclusion, Gloria says immediately, because of course she knows. Right, Professor Thalvrex says. His lure brightens. The principle that 2 species cannot occupy the same niche in the same environment simultaneously. One will always outcompete the other. He pulls up the holographic display again. It shows various ecosystems with species distributions. Little glowing dots representing different species. Some thriving, some diminishing, some disappearing entirely. When a more efficient predator enters an environment, he continues, his voice steady now, existing predators either adapt, move, or go extinct. His eyes flick to me again. His heart pulses once, red. The galaxy has many apex predators, he says. Corthians, Rendathi, several others. But humans are unique in that you're apex predators who also developed advanced technology and social cooperation. Most apex species are solitary. Humans hunt in packs and build civilizations. We're not that scary. His brain flashes yellow. You're terrifying, he says quietly. Your species went from basic tools to spaceflight in 10,000 years. You look at impossible problems and solve them out of spite. You pack bond with anything. You have a concept called extreme sports, which is just deliberately risking death for entertainment. Okay, when you list it like that, I start. You have a documented medical condition where your own immune system can kill you because it tries too hard, he continues, warming to his subject. His organs are glowing brighter, but not from fear now, from academic enthusiasm. It's kind of nice seeing him excited about something instead of terrified. You're the only known species that evolved to throw objects accurately at high speeds. Your endurance is unmatched. And you all act like this is normal. The class is staring at me now with renewed horror. We're also very friendly, I offer weakly. You invited Corthian warlords to a peace summit and served them food made with your capsaicin plants, Professor Thalvrek says. Capsaicin, which is a poison most species use as a defense mechanism. You eat it recreationally. The warlords thought you were threatening them. That was a cultural misunderstanding, Gloria says. She sounds amused. You're not helping, I tell her. I'm not trying to help, she says. She's definitely smiling now. Professor Thalvrek sits on the edge of his desk, which makes him look more relaxed even though his heart is still glowing faintly red. His mesh vest catches the light from his organs, creating little prismatic reflections. He folds his two arms across his chest, a surprisingly human gesture. The point, he says, is that humans are remarkable, terrifying but remarkable. The station's security system isn't malfunctioning. It's correctly identifying what you are. An apex predator, I say. Yes. Who just wants to pass xenobiology? Also yes. His lure pulses once amused. It's the first time I've seen him express something other than fear. Maybe there's hope for us yet. There's a chime from the classroom speakers. An announcement. Attention all station personnel, a nervous voice says. I recognize it as the security guard from earlier. His voice still sounds stressed, like he's one alarm away from a breakdown. Emergency faculty meeting in conference room Alpha immediately. Regarding, recent security protocols, all professors please report. Professor Thalvrex's organs do a complicated dim, then brighten sequence. He looks at me, then at the class, then back at me. I can see him doing mental calculations, probably weighing whether it's safe to leave me unsupervised with the other students. It seems I'm needed elsewhere, he says. Class dismissed. Read chapters 8 and 9 for next session. Come prepared with questions. He stands, grabbing a small data tablet from his desk. His movements are graceful, adapted for water but functional on land. As he walks past my row toward the door, his heart pulses red 3 times in quick succession. He's still scared, just managing it better. He pauses at the door, turns back. Kai, he says. Yeah, Professor. Try to avoid triggering any more alarms today, please. I'll do my best. That's what concerns me, he says and leaves. The classroom empties fast. Students practically trip over each other getting out the door ahead of me. The Sporthy has to be helped up by the Gelborn, leaving a trail of spores and wobble mark. The Carapaxian exits sideways, keeping his shell toward me like I'm going to attack from behind. The Mistwalker just dissipates partially and flows out through the door gap before it fully opens. Gloria packs her things with efficient, precise movements. She stands, smooths her black turtleneck, checks her silver watch one more time, and looks at me with those striking green eyes. Study session tomorrow, she says. My quarter's 1,800 hours. Don't be late. Is that an order? Yes, she says. And bring actual notes this time, not doodles. What if they're really good doodles? Kai. Fine, actual notes. She walks toward the door, her dark brown hair swaying with each step. She pauses at the threshold, looks back over her shoulder. And maybe eat breakfast tomorrow, she says. Your stomach growling nearly gave the professor a heart attack. Assuming he has a heart. I'm not actually sure what all those glowing organs are. I think the red one is definitely a heart. I say. The red one does seem heart adjacent, she agrees, and leaves. I sit alone in the empty classroom for a minute, surrounded by abandoned mushroom growths and stress silk. Through the viewport window, the stars drift peacefully. Out there, the universe doesn't care that I'm an apex predator. Out there, I'm just another person trying to figure out life. My stomach growls again. Somewhere in the distance, an alarm starts wailing. I grab my backpack, sling it over one shoulder, and head for the door. The corridor outside is mostly empty. A few aliens hurry past, giving me a wide berth. One of them, a web weaver I don't recognize, sees me and immediately starts producing silk, backing away down the hall while leaving a trail of panic thread. "I'm just going to my quarters," I call after them. Not hunting, just existing. They don't look convinced. The alarm is still going. Quieter now, more distant, but persistent. I wonder if it'll follow me everywhere. If every corridor I walk down, every room I enter, will announce my presence like I'm the galaxy's most dangerous person. I'm not dangerous, I'm barely competent. But I guess evolution doesn't care about competence, it cares about results. And humans got results. We got them so well that the entire galaxy installed alarm systems just to know when we're around. I pass through the central plaza again. The shops are starting to reopen, vendors peeking out cautiously. A Gelborn behind a food stall sees me and immediately ducks back inside. The holographic station map flickers, updating the location of the detected apex predator. It's pointing at me. I look up at the projection, at my own highlighted position on the map, marked in pulsing red. Yeah, I say to nobody in particular. That's about right. The alarm finally stops. The sudden silence is almost worse.